to the Mindset Elevator, everybody. I hope you guys are feeling awesome. I haven't been here for 2 weeks. All right. It is the end of June. June is, finishing up. We're heading into the hot season that July normally is. All right. So, I'm looking forward to what the summer is going to bring. And school's out for the children tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of school, at least here in Canada it is. So really looking forward to that as well. Just the season is, things are heating up. Things are really, really heating up. Just been a busy few last 2 weeks. So I haven't been able to really stream yet. Well, for the past 2 weeks, I wasn't able to stream, but I'm here now. All right, everybody. I'm thankful for you guys. Hey, everybody. Hey, Heaven Descending. How are you? Hope you're feeling awesome. Thank you so much for joining me this kind of late afternoon. See Weezy, nice to see you. Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you so much as well to the new viewers and subscribers that I've been seeing on the channel. I've been noticing a lot of you saying that you guys just subscribed recently, or you guys just came across my videos recently. So that's always humbling, I normally don't really go too deep into the analytics of things, because to me, it's just, I'm on here speaking on different things. So I don't really think about the analytics or this or that. But sometimes I feel like I do forget to mention, like, thank you so much for those who have been rocking here this whole time, people who are new here too. It's absolutely amazing. Just being able to build a community and just talk real ish all the time. That's very energizing to me, like truly invigorating, so I'm happy to be here, always connecting with everybody. Nice to see you, Discernment. Thank you. I'm so happy you guys are here, and I'm able to go in on a interesting topic, just the thought that people could just be mad at you and angry with you for seemingly no reason. It's like people are snappy, a lot more short-tempered, without warning, without provocation. A lot of times, it's just kind of like, what's going on? Why are people so mad? Why are people so haughty? Why are people so irritated? Especially from very minuscule things happening, or things that are being blown out of proportion. People are falling out. Just widespread irritation and aggravation. People just seem more aggravated these days, mad, huffy, full of attitude, all types of adverse behavior, unwelcoming behaviors. Like, why are people mad? And you're going to see people individually. It seems like they're just mad at you for no reason. They're going to treat you like you did something to them, or you hurt them in some way, but you didn't do nothing. But they're acting like they have a bone to pick with you. And you're trying to put the pieces together of what went awry, right? Like, why are they so mad? Why are they so bent? What did I do? You're going to ask yourself, what did I do? Someone's going to look at you funny one day. They never looked at you funny until that day. And you're going to be thinking to yourself, what did I do? Right? I thought we were cool, or I thought everything was all right. Where is this coming from? Weird energy, adverse behavior, total derailment from how you know them to be, or for how you know your interactions with them to be, right? Just odd behaviors. There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of reasons I think that people will just be mad at you for seemingly no cause, or it comes out of left field, or it just doesn't seem to have a point of origin. One of the main reasons why people are just going to be mad at you for no reason is because they're mad at life. Like, they just hate life. They don't like life. They don't like how their lives have been going. Everything's going down for them, or they feel like they're not where they want to be, and they just hate on everybody. They're just angry all the time, and they're hateful of anybody's come up, grind, accolades. They can't be happy for nobody. Everything is a misery type of thing. There's no getting through to them. There's no talking to them about your personal life or anything that you're building. Negative Nancy's. This is not a seasonal thing. This is not, we wish it was. We're talking about people who, they just seem to hate life, and it translates to the way that they treat people in their world, or even people that they don't even know that well, right? That's why you're going to see people doing really weird things in society that are totally adverse, totally bizarre. And it's like, where's that coming from? Or where did that level of hate come from? Or why are they attacking these people? Or why are they moving like that? Why are they so mad? And those are really dangerous people. If you think about the psychology of a person like that, who is so mad, they're so hateful of their own life. They can't even seem to fix their own situation. They don't want to try, or it's too cumbersome or something. So they go out and they attack other people, or they target other people because they hate life, or they could hate themselves. You know what I mean? Like, these people could be really hateful. They could be really dark spirited. You know, they don't really have nothing positive to look forward to. So what they do is that they go on the prowl, and they attack and they antagonize and they poke and they prod at anybody who seems to be a little bit better, a little bit happier, a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, those are their intended targets. And they'll do it oftentimes, I believe, subconsciously even. I think that's how wired a lot of these people are. They just act this way without even thinking about it. Like, it's ingrained in them. They're wired. And it's really odd behavior. People will just hate on you and be mad at you, and you didn't do nothing. It's because they hate life. They don't like their lives. And maybe the people who they see around them love life, see the vibrance in life, are living their best lives. They don't like people like that, especially if they see life as very woeful. You know what I mean? Very upsetting and disappointing, you know, something that they cannot build, something they cannot remedy, they cannot shine, whatever the case might be. They just hate. All right. And Planet, happy birthday to you. Everybody say happy birthday to Planet Brad. All right. Happy birthday to you. I hope that you are having a good time, having a good birthday, and living it up. You know what I mean? Not letting anything trouble your spirit, and realizing that you've been here for another year, and it's time to make big moves, and it's time to celebrate life every single day. You got to celebrate life every single darn day. It doesn't matter in which way. You got to find a way every day to celebrate life, or to honor the life that you have, or to show appreciation for the life that you have. It's just a way. It's a new way of being, like, you know, just kind of putting it high on your radar, to celebrate life and to enjoy life and to live life to the fullest, because life is sweet. But for the people who I'm referencing here, maybe not, you know, maybe not. Yep. M Love says they're mad because they're exposed. Oh yeah, that'll do it. A lot of the time, you know, when you're exposing people and exposing inconsistencies, or being, you know, you're going against the grain and having different opinions and different things like that, or you're causing facades to dissipate, like things like that, breaking through illusions and stuff like that. That'll get people bent. They're not going to like you very much. You know, like, they're just not going to like that. If they're more covert and secretive and weird, and they move kind of funny and stuff, they're not going to like people who shed light and who bring clarity to situations. You know, so if you're that type of person and you're around a bunch of shady fiends, you're not going to be their you're not going to be their favorite cup of joe. You know, and but still speak the truth. You know what I mean? Still tell your truth, speak your truth, and don't be stifled. Don't let your voice be stifled. I already know how that can go, you know, because, like, as much as I have this booming voice, I have a lot to say, I talk a lot, I'm very aware, but there were times when I would not be this way, you know what I mean? Or I'd be very selective in how I say things, who I say things to, or having very low confidence in what I had to say, not saying nothing because you can't say nothing, or you're being trained to not say nothing, or you feel like certain things aren't safe to say, all those different types of things, you know? So I'm more of an advocacy type of person, right? So I'm all about speaking up and speaking out. That's just my approach, especially after being stifled in certain aspects. It's like, it's loose, you know, like I can't, you know. So when your eyes are open, you see things for how they really are. That's how I kind of feel. I'm very energized by seeking truths and looking at things, and you know, deciphering things, and just being real, and just, you know, speaking on things, you know, being open-minded, and being free-spirited, and just speaking on the truth, being a truth teller, a whistleblower, right? Aaron, nice to see you. Yep. Nice to see you, Josh. I hope you guys are all feeling awesome. Thank you guys so much. And happy birthday once again to Brad. Yep. So, yeah, people are going to be really mad with you for no reason because they hate life. You know what I mean? Like they just don't like their lives. They don't like the way that of the trajectory of their life. They're feeling some type of way. So they're going to attack people and target people, maybe even you, to show their discomfort or their lack of enthusiasm for life. You know, they're going to be more enthusiastic trying to destroy your life. You know, whereas with all the problems, you would think with all the problems that are weighing down in their lives, that they would choose to use their time to remedy them. But a lot of times they do not. They just look and they hate and they destroy and they sabotage. Like that's how they choose to use their time. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of mind boggling and it's kind of counterproductive, you know? It's like, okay, you don't like life, you don't like yourself. You got to find a reason, you got to find a will. You got to find something to anchor yourself. You got to find something to ground yourself so that you don't become a hateful fiend, right? Or you don't become like miserable, like forever miserable. You got to find a way to elevate yourself. You can't, you're not going to elevate by tearing somebody down or by hating on the next man, hating on the next. What is that going to do for you? All that's going to do is make your heart more cold. If your predisposition is to be cold, that's going to make you colder. That's going to make you, so you got to find a way to warm up. You know what I mean? You got to find a way to warm your heart, warm your spirit, try something new, heal, go get therapy, speak your truth, whatever you got to do to heal yourself, to be free from your confines, or to be free from dark thoughts, or to be free from melancholy situations in your life so that you don't get plagued by them anymore. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to reasonably remedy your situation. Right? Like the situation is not going to get fixed by you trying to hate on somebody else or tear somebody else down, start a rumor, set a fire. You know what I mean? Like, what is that going to do? Put sugar in someone's tank, like very hateful, dark spirited, people like that, like they'll do a lot of things. You'll see the hate people have in their hearts, mad for no reason. They'll make up reasons. They'll say, oh, you did this, you did that, you caused this, you caused that, all the head bopping, all the snapping that you could imagine. And it's all like non-factual, right? Like it's delusions, it's made up, it's exaggerated, it's never clear cut, it's always unwarranted, like the attacks, sabotage, hate that you feel radiating off of these people. I'm telling you, it's not, these are very innate issues that the perpetrator has, and they don't seem to be able to combat it. All they seem to do very well is to attack people because they have dark spirits. And that's not the way. That's not sustainable, right? That's not really healing them either. They might feel a rush, when they attack somebody, when they hurt somebody. There's a lot of sadists in this world. People love to inflict pain upon other people, mental anguish, whatever sort of anguish that they could manufacture. And so, these people can be really soulless. And they can be really mad for seemingly no reason. And they will attack you. They will target you. And they will be hateful of life. So that's why they are mad at you, right? Or that's why they act irritated around you. They act like you did something. Most likely because some or all elements of your life is very attractive to them. They wish they had that. They wish that they were clear-headed like you, hardworking like you, good-looking like you, perhaps as skilled as you, as free as you, as independent as you. It could be a lot of elements in your life that these people really envy. And so, if you think about that, that's going to get a person hating, a person who's already in that dark place and they are not remedying their situation. Luella says you can see the hate and jealousy in their eyes. Yep. Planet says I make irony. God's impressed. Right. Yep. Another reason why you're going to see people are very mad, seemingly mad for no reason, is because they are jealous. They're just straight up. I mean, is there anything that the enemy does that isn't surrounding jealousy or has that as a major reason, like it's a major factor? It's always there. It's always lingering. A lot of times there's a lot of jealous, envious energy in the hearts of these people. and they'll hate on you and they'll be mad about you or mad with you because they're jealous of your life in some way. They could be hateful of elements that you have, certain things that you've got going on that they feel like they don't got going on, or they feel like there's a deficit. They feel like there's nothing blooming, right? So they'll hate on people who, once again, even a smidge better. It doesn't take a lot. And but if we're talking about you, of course, it's way deeper, right? We're talking about like a deep intellect, a deep empath, somebody who's deeply knowing and understanding and real and humble. Yeah, so you're not typical, right? For people who are jealous. They have jealous spirits, jealous hearts. You're gonna have a lot of people mad with you because they are jealous of you. All right, and you can't put it past. You're going to say to yourself, where is this coming from? Once again, you're going to feel that energy. Like, why, first of all, it's going to feel unnerving, right? It could be people you've been rocking with for decades, for a long time. It could be people who you had a very neutral relationship with as far as you were concerned. And you're starting to see cracks. You're starting to see things fragmented, or start to get fragmented. Like illusions are dissipating once again, and the truth is coming out, or the real vibes of these pretenders are coming out. A lot of times they pretend, a lot of times they hide, sometimes they can't hide it. Sometimes they'll show that they're mad, they'll act like they're really mad at you, and it's because they're jealous of you. You know what I mean? They're jealous of the life that you have, and it makes them feel mad at you. It makes them feel upset with you. But the reason that they're upset is because your life is looking really good, and they feel like their lives are looking pretty poor, right? And so they're comparing and contrasting, and they start feeling that hateful energy rise up. There is nothing that you did. It's nothing that you actually did. I mean, if it involves you actually living your best life and that's the action, but that's really pushing it. You're doing your own thing, and they hate that your life is working out. They're jealous of that life. They're jealous of the life that you've got. You know what I mean? So it's, it's sad. It's sad. It's really weird. Nice to see you, Victoria. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Cindy. Christopher said, that's too bad. Miss B says, jealous rage, very unpredictable. Treat with kid gloves, avoid. Right. And I did see that somebody here sent something here. YouTube is amazing, but sometimes I'm not able to navigate certain things. Certain things I'm not being shown right now. Like I see it pop up and then it disappears. I'm trying to still look here, but whoever sent that generous gift, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like I'm really trying to, things keep shifting and changing on the screen. The interfaces are constantly being modified. Yeah. I'm trying to look. Why can't it show me? Thank you so much for whoever sent that gift. Thank you. I really want to see, there's got to be a way, surely. But thank you so much. Lanny, was it you, Lanny? Thank you so much. If that was you, thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. Thank you to everybody who is here. And just know that if these people seem aggravated by you or irritated by you or snappy at you for seemingly no reason, or you feel like there's something off about your union with them now, or they're acting different, they're acting funny, or they're acting like they're mad at you for something, oftentimes it's just that they're jealous. You know what I mean? Like they're truly jealous. And because of the jealousy that they feel, they don't know how to act, like they're just mad. Everything that you do, don't tell them nothing about your achievements or accolades because they don't want to hear it. And once again, these are fantastic ventures or things that you've been gifted, and new ventures that you're embarking on. The enemy, when they hear this and they feel these ways, these dark spirited ways, they don't feel energized or inspired. They feel hateful and jealous, and it makes them look at you differently. It makes them treat you differently. Right. It's like, and of course they should have much more self-control over that, over that sort of feeling that comes over them. They should control that. But some people, they let it overtake them and they don't know how to act, and they start showing like really mean catty behavior, right? Or really hostile behavior that seems to, like, you're not understanding where is this coming from. But a lot of times it's because they're mad, because they're jealous. You know, they're jealous of your life, your career, maybe your happy family, who knows. It could be like a mixture of things where people are just very hateful. They don't like that you have a good life or a comfortable life or a happy, warm, enticing life, exciting life, and maybe feel like they feel like they don't have nothing good going on. Maybe they feel like their life is dreadful or full of chaos. They're not able to like settle down. They're not able to relax. They're not able to do what they want to do. And oftentimes it's truly self-limiting, right? Like the only reason why they're not able to live the life that they want to live while they're steady hating on other people is because they've cultivated too much darkness, right? Like they've conjured up, they've manufactured too much hate. And now it's kind of like that overshadows all of the beautiful things, all the great things they could have been building and repairing and fixing and reinforcing. They're like their worst enemy, their own worst enemy. And these are the people who are going to blame you for their lack. These are the same people, because they're so jealous and they're so hateful, they're going to say, oh, you're the reason why that they can't do something, or why they couldn't get something or get somewhere or have an opportunity. Like, these are the most hateful people. They will blame you for why they can't live their best life. They'll try to like bring your name up or bring you as the reason. It's diabolical behavior, delusional behavior. And it's people who don't want to take accountability, lurking too long, watching too long, hate stirring up, hate, pouring out. And then it's like it covered everything. It plowed over everything that they could have been building for themselves. Meanwhile, you kept building. And then what happens? They hate more. Like, when does the cycle end, right? So there has to be a break in the cycle. The person, the perpetrator, the enemy, the negative person, they have to do some sort of internal healing. That's all that they could really do, because if it's not you, it's probably going to be somebody else. These feelings inside, maybe feelings of inadequacy, feelings of melancholy, feelings of just sadness or despair or hopeless, people feeling like their life is just not that great and they don't know what to do, and all they know is to spread anger and to spread hate. Yeah, these people are never going to go up until they do that inner healing. That's vital, and it's going to take time. And that's why a lot of them won't do it, right? Like, first of all, they don't want to take accountability. They want to blame other people for why they're mad or for why they attack somebody else, why they did something untoward to somebody else. Like, they blame other people. They play the blame game. They point fingers. They gaslight. They do all types of things to step away from what their anger causes, or from what their rage or what their jealousy causes. But really, they were the manufacturer of this dreariness. And that's how people are going to hate on you for seemingly no reason. But it's because really they feel this jealousy. It's like a deep burning jealousy, and it continues to grow when you grow, or as you grow, their jealousy or contempt grows. It's kind of odd, because then it never ends. Once again, like, where's going to be the break or the end if they're mad now, or if they're hateful now and they're acting all like, then when is it going to be to where they stop feeling that way? If you're bound for success, you're bound to continue to, get up, get higher. What are they going to feel like then? So it's a tricky thing for the perp. They kind of cornered themselves in a box, right? And that's why it's always best to go inward before things, become out of hand, get chaotic. And people mad. Even people in society, like, you'll just go to the grocery store and everybody's just mad. All the workers are mad. You go to the bank, all the tellers are angry. They're all irritated. They're all on edge. They all have an attitude. You know what I mean? Like, there's no common decency no more. There's no hello. It's just like, what do you want? Like everybody's cattle or something, right? So a lot of people are just really mad and just feeling really negative. I really wonder, like, why? There's more on the mainstream, wider scale, right? Because I'm seeing more people in society just angry, and very irritated. And, somebody made a good point, because I think I made a video about something similar. I don't, not exactly fully, but yeah, I think it was a stream where I said people were acting strange. And somebody made a really good comment saying, well, something about like if food prices are up or economy is bad, you know what I mean? And that's why people are acting strange or behaving oddly, behaving more different. And those are real legitimate concerns. Like that's a really good point that people really could just be economy worried or down about the state of the world right now, the state of money, the state of just food and just reliability and sustainability of our lives, right? People can be really mad about that, really upset. But that doesn't mean that you get to be a piss poor individual, you know? Like that's not the excuse, that's not the write-off. Like, okay, I get to be a piss poor person because groceries are more expensive these days, right? And I'm mad because milk is $2 more or whatever the case might be. And of course I'm minimizing it. It's a lot bigger than that. But what I'm trying to say is even situations of a very large scale like the economy or the politics or big things in the world should never make your heart turn cold. It should never make you not know how to have that common decency, common respect, and know, just being a good person, being an upstanding citizen, right? Like a lot of people will blame these different things and say this is why they move a certain way or this is why they're mad all the time or upset. Oh, I'm just mad about this. I don't know. It's deeper. I think that it truly, it could be something deeper, right? Like that could be totally be like your biggest concern. That could be somebody's biggest concern, the economy, and that makes them feel down and that makes them feel bad about life. Of course. Of course, like some people get really, really down about things like this, and so I could totally understand where it would affect some people a lot more deeply, a lot more worriedly. But still, right? There has to be a certain level of control and poise as well, right? Like, yes, the situation could be bad, it could be not favorable, but you can make a way. You can, something will work out, right? Make something work out. Do something to make your situation a little bit more stable than you're forecasting, for example, right? You don't gotta be a pissy person in society, just because food is up, just because this, that, and the third. Even, oh man, like even people mad at, I don't know if I even want to get into it. Because, I mean, people just keep making excuses for bad behavior. You know what I mean? Like really making excuses for piss poor conduct. And it irritates me because there's always, to me, it's innate with the perp. It's something internally happening with the perp. And that's why they're behaving adversely outwardly to others. There's something wrong with them internally. There's something off, right? Something that they're not fixing, something that they're not changing. And they can't change it, I guess, so they start to attack. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing a lot of people on social media making excuses for piss poor behavior, and it's just irritating to me. It's irritating, and I'll tell you from now, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I'm going to tell you from now, when anybody uses race as an excuse, you know what I mean, for why someone is behaving in a certain way or this person is moving like that because something untoward racially is happening to them, this, that, and the third. In some instances, that could very well be true. Very well be true. But once again, there has to be a certain level of accountability that every single person, no matter which race you are a part of, you have to be accountable for your choices. It doesn't give you the right to, attack somebody else and because you're a part of a certain demographic feign like you're the victim or feign like you're the one that was targeted, right? Or you were the one that was wrong or grieved, right? People, these perps will switch roles. They will go, a lot of narcissistic people do that, or people who are like that victim mentality, you know what I mean? Where something happens to them or they perpetrate something, and then because there's a backlash or any kind of backlash afterwards, then they switch or change their tune and they say, oh, actually, it was really because I'm a part of this demographic or I'm a part of this group. And that's why things got out of hand, right? Nah, that stuff has to stop. They're really pushing out that narrative really hard on social media. I'm seeing that. It's really annoying. You got to be accountable no matter who you identify as and what is the tone of your skin. It doesn't matter, right? Like certain excuses cannot be applied just across the board. Or imagine, and some people do, and that's why they're so full of hate, right? So full of hate, so full of hate. It's and it seems like an endless cycle, and social media kind of is kind of like the wind that blows it up out. You know what I mean? It travels, it flows, and it's everywhere. That's why it's important to just know who you are, know where you stand, and just, you know, be solid and be accountable. You know, you can't always blame, oh, this person, oh, this race. You know, no. Nah, right? Like I walk to a whole different drum beat. You know what I mean? Like I don't see things like that. I feel like you do it, that's on you. Don't blame nobody else. Right? Nobody else told you to do that. Nobody told you else to be, no one told you to be that. No one race told you, made you that way. You know what I mean? Like you made yourself that way, or maybe how you grew up made you that way. It could be that, it could very well be that too. Some people are grown up in a certain way where they have certain views. You know what I mean? Thank you to everybody who's gifting here. That's so nice of you. All the likes, all the watches. Thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate that. You know, just a lot of hateful people. A lot of hateful people, and you can't blame certain groups or certain demographics for everything, for why something in your life is not. And I'll hear people talk about it too, man. It's so unnerving. I swear, when I start hearing people talk about stuff like that, I just don't want to have nothing to do with them. I'm being honest with you. Like people who start talking about certain things, like saying things like, oh, well, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be this way, or we would not all be in this situation if it wasn't for them, or that group of people, or those types of people. I'm in my situation because of those types of people. To me, it just blows my mind. I don't get it. I don't like it. It doesn't make sense to me. What did they do? You know what I mean? What did they do to you to contribute to your lack? Right? What did they do? Did they write your resume for you? What did they do? Were they your financial advisor? Did they screw up your accounts? What did they do? What did all of them do to you? You know what I mean? You're in charge. You're in charge. That's your life. What are you doing? Why are you pointing fingers? Right? Don't minimize this now. You have to take accountability for your situation. Right? There could be a history. There could be something behind it. There could be an origin. There could be moving parts, variables, but at the end of the day, you're in charge of your life. You can't make excuses and say, oh, this person is the reason why I'm mad. I've been around people, they're blaming other people, they're blaming other races, they're blaming other cultures. I can't hear it. I can't listen to that, you know, because it's like, what did that group do to you? In this situation that you're currently discussing, that you're currently so melancholy about, what did that group that you're accusing, what did they do to you? Come on. And they can't say it. They can't think of a reason. They just they just did it. That's what the news said. That's what CNN said. That's what happened. That's what it is. And that's what's going on. I mean, like, what? Where is the autonomy? Where are your own thoughts? You know, where are your own conclusions? Really, would you still come to the same conclusion? Maybe they would if they were, nature versus nurture. You know what I mean? Like maybe people were brought up in a certain way to believe certain things that were just not true. So, you know, it could still be ingrained in them, you know, these kind of odd ways of seeing things. I just don't see things that way. Nah. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be mad at you because maybe you fit the demographic of a group of people that they can't stand. Or, you know what I mean? It could be like that, where people are going to hate on you because you're a part of a group that they don't like. right? Like you could be a part of a racial group that they don't like, which is so ridiculous. To me, it's just ridiculous. I don't know how you could hate somebody for their race. You know, like you got to love all people from all different, I mean, I do. I do. I love people from all different races. I grew up in a very multicultural city. I'm born in a multicultural city. It's all I know. It's what I love, you know, and I just don't see I don't understand how people could like say that a certain group, cultural group, ethnic group, whatever, is the reason that they're down and out or why they can't get a job or why, nah, it's your fault. It's your fault why you can't get a job, right? It's your resume. Timmy from that race is not the one who wrote your resume for you. Is not the one who worked the jobs, who had the gaps in the resume. You know what I mean? That was you. That's on you. Don't say because Timmy is a part of a certain demographic that he's the reason why. It doesn't have to be about that. It could very well be that you don't fit the standard of what they're looking for. You are not what they're looking for. You are not who they're looking for. It's not because necessarily you look a certain way. It could be that in some situations, but it's not always that. It could be just very simple, like you don't have the qualifications, you're not a good fit, or you know, there's a certain sort of training that you just don't have. You know, like it's not because necessarily, oh, Timmy, he's against us because I didn't get that job from that place and he's a part of that race. So that means that Timmy is against me and everybody's against me from that race. And I can't get a job now because of Timmy, because he associates himself with that. Well, it doesn't make no sense. That doesn't make no sense. It will never make sense to me. Right? So if you get the gist, you know, kind of like where my mind is at. I just don't see things like that. I see it as what it is, the individual. Or imagine, right? Imagine where there's somebody who they get robbed. All right. Let's say somebody gets robbed, right? I don't know if these words should be censored. I really don't know. Let's say somebody gets their stuff jacked. I don't know if that's probably even worse. And let's say that let's say that the perpetrator was from a certain race. I don't have to say which race. Let's just say a race, right? A certain race, because they always do this stuff. And then, so because that happened, the victim, as rattled as they deserve to be, as unnerved, as angry, as upset as they deserve to be, because a crime was committed against them and they suffered a loss, that they start hating everybody in that same race or a part of that same race because something terrible happened to them and the perp so happens to be from the race. So they start hating everybody from that race. Oh, screw them. Their kind stole my stuff. No, that guy stole your stuff. That man with his government name, lay it out, whatever case might be, docket, whatever you want to say, that dude is the perpetrator, not his demographic, right? Too much hate, widespread hate, all encompassing rage, hate over race. It's just not my thing. It's not my thing. It's not a reason to be hateful inside or to feel like you're mad because of that's crazy how you're lowering yourself. Whoever might feel that they can't go up in life or they can't be somebody great because of a certain demographic, that's tough. That's a really tough predicament for you to find yourself in, because now you're giving a group that didn't do nothing to you power to control your mind that deep. That makes you feel that you're so powerless because a group that you perceive to be a part of your demise. Nah. Eventually you got to anchor yourself and be like, you know what? I got to get my qualifications up. I may have to take a different check on my skills and my abilities. Maybe I got to brush up on some things. Maybe that place was not a good fit. That place, that firm, whatever the case might be, like very targeted solutions instead of these wild, hazy conclusions that probably for the most times it's just not even accurate. Mark says they jealous. Yep. And Luella says small-minded individual, too much hate indeed, blinded by jealousy and hate. Right, exactly. Thank you so much, Ahmed. I love your content. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really hope that going forward, I'll be able to see all of the moving parts of these features on the streams, because there's some that just kind of disappear, like it's like a Snapchat or something, like it just, you can't find it again, you know? Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody, you know? Yeah, hateful people, people making excuses, saying that somebody else did it, somebody else is adding to their, they'll people be mad at you. They'll be mad at you. They'll say that you're the reason why they can't go up, or you're the reason why they can't succeed, when it's their fault. It's their fault, or lack of forward movement, or lack of planning, lack of execution, why they can't get to where they want to be. That's the reason. You know, like it's not, it's not, you cannot blame somebody else. You cannot put that on somebody else unless they were literally like directly tied to something. If it was like a partnership, or like quite literally, you were literally working with somebody else and they literally screwed you over, that's completely different, you know? But for the most part, you're gonna find people just really mad at you, really aggravated and annoyed because they're jealous, and they just don't like life, and you know, they just want to blame other people. They just feel like all of their problems are as a result of somebody else's choices or somebody else's behavior, and that's not always the case. You know, like you have to be mindful of your own choices, your own, that's how I see things. And you know, I used to blame people. I used to blame a lot of people for why I felt like my mind was in a stagnant state, or for why I didn't have clarity, or why something wasn't working out for me. I would try to look around to see who could I blame. It is very easy to fall into that pattern of trying to blame somebody, trying to look at somebody, oh, you're the reason, and being mad at them, being really mad at them, believing that they're the cause for why you're in your position, right? Oh, because they were never there for me. That's the reason why I'm the way that I am. Eventually, you can't blame them, you know? Like, sure, they could have had a massive impact, negative impact on perhaps your up. Think about like an absent parent. You know what I mean? An absent parent, like a mom that wasn't around, a dad that wasn't around. That could definitely sting super deeply as you are a child. You know what I mean? And growing up and feeling that void of an absent parent for whatever reason that they are absent, you know? And as you get older, if you're not careful, that could turn into some level of bitterness, you know, and bitterness towards either a parental figure that is similar to them, or seeing other people that have their parents, and you, whoever is affected, could feel some type of way about that. You can't, eventually, right? You might still feel that pain, but you should, at some point of time, because our minds matured by that point, for the most part, you can choose like how you want to live. Like, let's say your dad was never around, and you're a man, and your dad was never there for you, and now you have your own children. You don't have to be like that man. You know what I mean? You don't got to be like your dad, like your father. You could be different. You know what I mean? You could be there for your children. You don't have to repeat the same cycle. And that's how you grow. You may still feel that pain and that sting from that absent parent, and wishing, you know, like wishing that they were there for you, and wishing that they were a figure there, that they protected you, that they taught you things. But maybe you had to teach yourself or learn by other means. And when you had your own children, you vowed to not be like that person, because you know how it felt. And so you could grow up your children differently. And guess what? They now have the skills and values that you taught them. But sometimes you never had nobody to teach you, right? So it could be like that. And so that's why, you know, it's very important that you are accountable for whatever it is that happens. You know, it comes to a point where you can't always blame somebody else. It will feel like you want to, but eventually it's like, you know what, I'm a grown up, I'm an adult, right? And I can change the trajectory of my life, and I can make it what I want it to be, what I want it to be, and what I don't want it to be. And I don't have to follow the patterns or the status quo to achieve what I want. I could do things my own way, tailored to my life, and not suffer the grievances of others or the grievances I used to suffer, things like that, you know? So, and then you won't be that mad, dark-spirited person, right? Because even if you were dealt some really bad cards, You're choosing to live your life in the best possible ways. So you're not spreading hate because of a woeful situation you came out of, or a traumatic childhood, or whatever the case might be. Like, you're not putting it on somebody else, blaming other people, and being inactive or barred or banned from growing up or getting up because of your history or your past. That's why you're able to flourish. You get everything you want, because you're not bitter, and because you chose a different route. You chose to stay in the light. So you're not going to be mad. When you see people out there in society getting up, getting what they want, you're probably the cheerleader. You're clapping for people. I guarantee you're the type of person who doesn't feel no type of ways, no jealousy, no envy. It doesn't exist in your system. You're just somebody who wants everybody to be happy. Leave me alone. Let me do what I want to do. I will support you if I love you. We'll have a good relationship if everything's cool. But if people are like negative and warish, then you're probably not going to want those people around you. But you want to be happy for people and you want people to do well. It can be like that, and it's because you're not a bitter person. Your spirit is pure, right? And your intentions are pure. And that's why you continue to flourish. But some people, they don't feel like that. You know what I mean? They don't feel that vibe. They don't feel so jolly, right? They feel angry at the world. They didn't fix their situation. They chose to repeat cycles. They chose to become melancholy. They didn't change. They didn't reform. Certain things are still the same for them. Like, they're still in their situation. It's still bad. It's still rocky. They never grew up. They never healed. All types of moving parts to why they're acting the way that they are now. And it can be very potent, toxic behavior. It just makes you cringe. Like, it's so, because imagine if you're the opposite, and you went through a traumatic situation and you healed and you're better and you're a survivor and you're doing well, like you're on the right path. And there are some people who are crashing out and they don't know how to stop. And they treat people like that. They treat people like they don't know how to stop. They don't know how to ground themselves. They're on a disastrous path. And they treat people like that. You ever see real people around you just crash out? And you're thinking to yourself, that's what they're dealing with? Like, that's how they really feel? Wow. Like, this is some seriously adverse behavior. So, yeah, I mean, yep, yep. Exactly. Victorian says, even when I was in a low self-esteem, I was never jealous of anyone. I wanted better for me, not attack others because I was in a low state. It's a choice. Oh yeah, for sure. Yep. Ahmed says, my dad was never in my life. Yet that seems to be like, even like some others too, like some absent parents, like it's a problem. It's a problem when the people who gave birth to you, gave life to you, raised you, adopted you, whatever the case might be, weren't really there or weren't really present as they should have been. And these are very impressionable years. So if we're not careful, like, it could have really caused some serious conflicting behaviors, attitudes, situations, predicaments. It can be unfortunate. Yep. So, yeah, there was just a very distracting individual in the chat. I don't know what they're ranting about. I don't know what they're going on about, but they're so distracting. But anyway, everybody, yeah, like I said, like, some people could just be mad out of nowhere, mad, huffy, random behavior, random outbursts, things like, I've seen it all. I've seen people behave like very shockingly, like people kind of just out of nowhere, they have this outburst or they have this weird adverse behavior. You're thinking to yourself, where is this coming from? Were they always holding this inside? Like, when did they start feeling this way? What are they really mad about? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just, so distracting, distracting behavior. And you'll see them everywhere. They're everywhere. They're online, they're in person, they could be a part of your family, they could be at the workplace. Just aggravating people who are mad for no reason, seemingly no reason at all. Just irritated, quite likely because of the state of their own situation and life. and maybe like everything you stand for are things that they'd never stand for, or things that they feel like they cannot take a stand on, or they can't take a stand on anything. These people could be really internally blocked, and they live life like that. Yep. David says they are harboring negativity. Yep. Victorian, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I like how we all could just vibe and stuff. And I understand. I totally understand. Like, not everybody's here to like vibe, Not everybody's here to just, most people are, but I notice it on other people's channels as well. Because I watch other YouTubers, I watch other people and their streams and stuff too. And I'm in there and I'm watching, and I could tell that most people are very positive and very uplifting and engaging. And then there's always that one or two people in the chat who are very disrespectful and just overtly adverse. Like, they are angry and they are very negative and they seem disturbed. You know what I mean? Like, I'll even go as far as to say they seem disturbed. And it just doesn't really make sense to me. Like, why are you so disturbed going into someone's... I mean, they're free to do it, right? They're free to do it, but what are you getting from the situation? You're so disturbed, you're so mad, you're throwing the whole vibe off because of just strange ideations that you might have. It's just bizarre. It's just bizarre. And people are odd too. You might see it too for your own personal life. People having burner accounts, people stalking through various platforms, various pages just to watch you, just to look at your life. Because think about it, right? What is wrong with that particular person where they have this, it's very tailored, very targeted anger, and it's very odd, and then they're spewing all this out. You're this and you're that and you're a piece of this and you're a piece of that, and get a load of this person. It's like, let me rock with that. Keep going. Let me rock with that. It just sounds stupid, like they're shooting off insults and this, that, and the third. And it's like, what do you have to share? What do you have to, like, why are you here? You know what I mean? And it's just weird. It's just very weird behavior. And I feel for anybody who is trying to build something or building something, it could be even a service that you have online. People are putting fake reviews, or people are like shading your stuff. And they're like, you know what I mean? Like, behaving very oddly because you have a business or a service, hateful, and they want to spread that negativity. And it's like dark. It's like evil eye on your work, or evil eye on your mission and your goals and your businesses, or your accolades, or whatever the case might be, your life, your vision, your future, your forward movement. Like, people spreading like darkness towards what you're trying to build and who you're trying to be. And it's like, it's very weird. Very, very weird. Luella says positive vibes and truth. Yep. Destiny says you could see the demons eating them up in real time. Yeah. Like, mad and disturbed, Luella says maybe one of my stalking freaks that is screaming for attention. You never know. It could be anybody. It could be a nobody. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, everybody has, once again, some people are just very, very mad and very, very envious. You will actually see. I know I've highlighted jealousy for the umpteenth time on this channel because it's such a prevalent reason for why adverse behavior starts showing up in our lives, because of people feeling jealous or a jealous situation presenting itself. It's just kind of unnerving. But people will be so mad at you because they're so jealous, and everything that you do, maybe like they can't control themselves, or they feel out of control. Like, their jealousy for you makes them feel out of control, and they don't even know how to act a lot of the times. And jealousy will literally make some people act this way. So jilted, so jilted. Did I say that twice? Jilted, unnerved, like, off their rocker, off balance. Jealousy can really incapacitate people. Like, I've seen jealousy completely change the person's behavior and their mannerisms and what you thought you knew about that person. Raven says, I really try to discern whether someone is neurodivergent, in a mental episode, demonic, and hateful, because sometimes they come across as the same online. Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't know what it is. You don't, I just feel like, once again, yeah, mental health is a whole different thing. You know what I mean? Because that's a real thing. That's a real problem. And I'm still trying to research. It's research is very like iffy of people who have these kinds of issues and whether or not they're able to really control themselves and act appropriately and act diligently and respectful in society. Like, does it really incapacitate them that much that they don't know how to act because of this problem? Because some of them act like they have these issues and they're able to like make manifestos and they're able to lay out the whole plan of why they did something. Like, they're able to make it very clear, like, okay, you know, I did this because of this, that, and the third, yet they're being labeled as somebody who's off their rocker, and they have to be to a certain degree, but I mean, there's certain level of planning that, but then again, that could be just cognitive as well. You know, there's all these different like variables, and it's very hard to say and to tell all the time if somebody's being adverse because there's something wrong with them cognitively, mental health wise, or because they're a jealous fiend. You know what I mean? Like, they could just be a hater, right? I often don't really look at the other aspects because I'm not a mental health practitioner, or I can't be sure, right? It could be that, but I just talk about what I feel like it's very likely to be. A lot of times people are very jealous or envious or upset about their life or something. They're jealous of somebody, and that's why. But they could still have those issues, though, right? It could be exasperating their behavior, but once again, like, they still have choices. They could choose to be different. Some people struggle, you know, with impulse control and exercising good judgment. Some people just really struggle with that. So even when like they know they're doing wrong, or they know they should stop antagonizing somebody, they should lay low, stop it, improve, you know, cut it out. It's like they can't stop themselves, or they can't control what they want to do, right? Or what, you know, so there's so many variables. Yeah, Raven says, yes, it could definitely be both. And some literally refuse to get help. Yeah, because I feel like also the main reason, because I've seen some people who really fall into this category of they need serious help. Like, people who I've literally dealt with in my life that I know very well, that I wish I didn't know very well, you know, and I just, the prevailing thing that I believe is that they actually do need some kind of help. The way that they're behaving is so outlandish that laypersons cannot fix them, right? Like, they need professional help. Something has to give, you know, and they don't want to be accountable. They don't want to come to terms with the fact that a healthcare practitioner or someone like that might tell them that, hey, you know, you do have this issue, and you're going to have to remedy it if you want to have a somewhat normal life, you know. Now, medications is not always, in my opinion, not always, you know, sometimes it depends. That's a whole different topic, you know. But what I will say is that some people really need to get help for things that they seem to be unable to control. And they don't want to get help a lot of the time because they don't want to hear the truth, right? Or some kind of truth they're worried about. They're worried about getting some information that confirms that maybe their behavior is adverse, or maybe they do have a bigger issue that they've not been able to quiet and to stop because they're struggling like very deeply and they need a second opinion. So, yeah. Raven says, in a way, they are dangerous. Like, I still get so upset about what happened to Shanquella Robinson. Jealousy and fake friends, hater subs, frenemies can be just disturbingly dangerous. Yeah. First of all, being in a foreign country and having that happen to you is just so violent. It's so off-putting to me about the Shanquella Robinson matter. You know, it's just that is so unsettling to me. And then people who you ride with, you can't trust all the time. Like, people who you call a friend, somebody you call your favorite cuz, you know, You don't know who to trust. Wasn't there a case like a few months ago where I don't know if it was a young man or a young woman went to meet up with a cousin that they never knew, a cousin that they did not know or had not met in person yet, and then they lost their life for it, or something like that? I could be wrong. You don't know who these people are a lot of the times, especially like some people move funny, and you cannot always know who to trust. And the Shanquella Robinson showed us that. You could pay for everybody's ticket. You could pay for everybody's enjoyment. These people will still be against you. They're just waiting. You know what I mean? To like finesse or to show how jealous they actually are. Show how hateful, how mad at you they actually could be. Oh, but they'll ride your wave. You know what I mean? Like they'll take from you. Oh yeah. They will. They're grimy. These are grimy people. They'll take from you, they'll deplete you, and then they'll hurt you, sometimes. And the Shanquella Robinson, she lost her life for it. It's vile and it's disturbing. And I hope that the Robinson family can that they have peace. That they have some level of peace, and because which is it's tough. That's really really tough. That situation was very disturbing. Seeing those videos too, like the clips and stuff that I saw online about that, very distressing. And I'm somebody who's really into like crime related documentaries and things like that. And I'll still come across, content that's very distressing, very unnerving. Yeah, that was one of them. That made massive news. It just goes to show you can't trust certain friends. You can't trust people can smile at you, laugh, hug you. They know you got it like that. They'll use you, right? And then still try to treat you like a piece of garbage afterwards when they want to, or dismiss you, or they show their true colors eventually. Maybe you cut them off from your allowance. No more allowance for you. You've been taking advantage of me. No more for you. And you start seeing that rage build up in them, like, oh, okay, so you were just using me. You'll see that rage come out, that anger. These people start acting like they have a problem with you and that you never did nothing for them ever. They were users, and they can be very hateful that they even had to use you, right? Like you have the key, you have the resources, you have it going on, and they couldn't build anything for themselves. They couldn't do nothing for themselves. They had to ride your wave. And then once they couldn't ride it no more, or once they saw, oh, wow, because some people will like use you, then they get vexed in the middle of it. You know what I mean? Like they're using you. Then they're like, she really has it like that. She's really paying for my whole life, everything that I want. And it gets them jealous and mad and acting weird. So they like sometimes viciously use you. You know what I mean? Like try to reap everything all at once. Like, give me that, give me that. Start seeing ungrateful behavior, start really ramping up, very entitled behavior. Then when you see the disrespect, you cut them off. Then they're acting like you're the worst person. They don't like you. You're this, you're that. They did this for you. They did that for you. You don't know who to trust. You can't always ride with everybody. You know what I mean? You can't always ride because some people are just snakes and they are users and they have adverse behavior that probably goes against your whole operation, how you move. You know what I mean? Like you'll see people behaving in ways that just don't align with your values, and you start seeing that, you start moving probably different to avoid that person or to avoid that predicament. Yeah, you can't always trust people. You can't. They'll be mad. They'll smile. They'll smile at you. They'll hug you, but they will use you. You know what I mean? Sometimes they will use you. They'll ride your wave. They know you have it going on, but then they'll still have that deep-seated hate. And it's so gross. Like, how can you use somebody that you are envious of or that you're hateful of? And people do it every single day. They use people who they hate on. And do you know how sorry of a person you have to be, first of all? Like, okay, I'm going to use that person, but I can't stand them. But I'm going to use them because I want to. You know what I mean? And then, but they still hate because everything that you do, it's kind of interesting because you could help people and assist people, give them nice things, give them your time, your energy, whatever, however you help them, and they'll hate on you, they'll take it, then they'll get angrier and more jealous because you do not ever get depleted. Like you're always abundant, you're always helpful, or you're always being real, and it makes them feel some type of way more. So they act like they gotta claw everything from you. Like, I'm gonna punish you by taking all your stuff that you've been so kind giving to me, because I'm going to punish you because I don't like you, that I don't like that you have all this. I don't like, you shouldn't have all this. You know what I mean? Just monstrous behavior. Trying to claw it back because they're hating. You know what I mean? Trying to claw anything from you, take anything from you because they're mad that they lack, right? It could be that they're mad that they're lacking. They don't have nothing going on for themselves like that. Nothing sustainable like what you've built. It could be like that, you know? And so they're just mad. Or perhaps they could see that your abundance is taking you places and they want to go along too. But maybe they know you don't rock like that, or they know it's not going to turn out like that. So they take what they can. These could be thieves, you know, these could be literal thieves that you know, people who will steal from you because they feel like they'll never really actually have it the way that they want to have it, you know? So they'll steal it or they'll coax it from you in some way so that it's not a genuine transaction or a genuine gesture, right? Blessed, nice to see you. Thank you so much. Yep. Luella says jealousy goes far, even jealousy of your pet. Everything but liars and thieves. Right. Yeah, you know, that's really bizarre. You know what I mean? Like jealous of a pet. You know what I mean? Like people could be jealous of anything these days. You know, and that's very strange. Yeah, very, very strange. But it's like it's all for grabs. It's all possible. You know what I mean? People just being hateful of everything that makes you happy, maybe, and they feel like they just don't like that, and they feel like they can't have that. They can't have it like how you have it. So they try to destroy it or sabotage it or take it all for themselves. It's a very strange hamster wheel type of conduct. You know what I mean? Like it's a looping behavior and it's like, when does it stop? Because like you're not going anywhere and you're not going to stop growing. You're not going to stop getting what you want. And if you're always around this hateful person who tries to attack you every chance you get every time you get a little bit something, then when is it going to end? Right? It's just adverse behavior. Very odd behavior. Yeah, Antoinette says fake friends and family. You know, I mean, they'll do it. They're the biggest haters of all. Unfortunately, like people that are in your family and people who are part of your friend group, so-called, I should say. I mean, I say it so casually, but it's really odd. People from your own bloodline could actually be very hateful of you. They could be acting like they're mad at you, like you did something when you didn't do nothing. You didn't do diddly squat. Right? Like once again, like if that means you doing something is you living your life and they're just watching and they're getting madder about it, then I guess that's doing something, but that's still very strange behavior. They don't have a grip on their emotions and they don't have a grip on their own reality. That's what's making them tweak, right? People who start behaving like you hurt them, you're the reason for their lack, you're the reason that they're down right now, you're the reason that they can't grind right now, whatever. It's like, you know, you're the reason. You're the reason why you don't like life. You can't say somebody who loves their own life is the reason why you hate yours, right? Like there's enough love to go around. You could be anybody you want to be, right? You could have any type of life you want to have. How is that a part? How is someone from a certain demographic or the whole demographic? Why are they the reason? Or why is your cousin the reason? Or your brother? Like, that's on you, you know? Your happiness is not contingent based off of like what someone else is moving like, what someone else is having, you know what I mean? Like that's on you. If you want to have a nice life, you better figure it out. You got to do something to give yourself the life you want to have. But I'm telling you, if you want to hate on somebody else, it's not going to work because all that's going to do is cultivate darkness for the perp. And once it cultivates darkness, how are they going to see the light of what they could build, see the possibilities? When they've conjured up negativity, that's what they dwell in. I've seen people literally dwell in misery. It's really unnerving, and they are the maddest people of all. The maddest of all. I'm talking about people who literally, they wake up, it's like misery, right? and they go on the prowl. They're negative to everybody. They don't know how to build proper unions with nobody. Every union they have with somebody is transactional because that's literally the only way it would work. You know what I mean? Like some people have to like buy people to be around, coax people to get involved in their lives because to be honest, to the core of it all, they may not be a pleasant person. Right. And I know these people, like they really may not be a pleasant individual and they literally have to coax people, bribe people, extort people so that they can act like they got folks too. Right. And they have success too, or they're on some proper stuff too. And they're really not. A lot of the times they're just angry and being fake and they don't know how to actually get to the core of the issue, get to the core of the matter of why they might really be mad inside, really, really upset with somebody else inside. Like, are you really? I guarantee that if they took a second look or got help or sought within, they would realize, that person is not actually my problem, right? They may have triggers that irritate me because it's a reminder of what I lack, what I don't have, what I'm losing, where I'm not right now. But really, they're not the reason why you should be mad. Like you should be mad at yourself. You need to build yourself up. You can't blame somebody else for why you're not at a certain stage unless literally they are quite literally involved in the matter with you and their actions or non-actions contributed to your actual predicament. Then you could say, okay, man, you did this and you got to help me fix this. But otherwise, if it's something different, like where someone's just mad at somebody else having a nice life or whatever, come on now. That's a you problem. And you got to rectify that in the ways that you see fit, and and some people can't do that. They don't want to do that. Accountability is like a very hard pill to swallow for some people. They're just not about to do all that. And they're not about to do anything that triggers that either. Right? So I mean, like, for example, if somebody's so disturbed and them going to talk to somebody because they're so disturbed is going to trigger accountability having to take place. They're going to avoid getting that interaction with that therapist or whatever the case might be. They may not want to do that. They don't want to trip anything. It's like tripping a wire or tripping something. Like they don't want to trip to where they have to take accountability for what they've been burying, right? Or for what they've concocted. It could be to where they did something that was damaging to a union and now people don't want to rock with them no more. And rather than thinking about, wow, like I really caused serious, serious problems here in this predicament, I better think about how I can make this right or what really happened here. They say, well, I was justified. You know what I mean? Like that person did this. If it wasn't for that group, I wouldn't be in this predicament. If she didn't look at me that way, then I wouldn't have had to smash. Like, you know what I mean? Like what? Like, no, you have to have a certain level of control, dignity, and respect for how you move in life. And some people just don't. They don't want to take accountability for what they've done wrong. They want to be on a warpath. They want to be mad at everybody. They want to have a reason to be mad at whoever. That means anytime something goes wrong in their life, they say, it's him. Yep, he did that. You know what I mean? He did that. And they set it up sometimes too. They really will make it so that if something goes wrong or if things are breaking apart, they set it up where they already have the scapegoat or they already have the excuse, all to avoid leaving their fingerprints at the scene or like having to be accountable for their actions or for what they did or didn't do that led them there. So, yeah. Destiny says, don't hate me because I make good decisions. And you're going to see a lot of people really they act like you should suffer too, or you should suffer the calamities that they suffered, because it's not fair that you have an easier life or a life that seems to be less stressful than what they had to go through. It's like, nah, everybody has to climb this mountain because I climbed this mountain, and so do you, and so do you, and you will suffer, and you'll have to beg because I had to beg, so you're gonna have to beg. Now that I have it like that, you're gonna beg me. I'm not gonna be the beggar, you're gonna beg. And people are gonna treat you in all types of weird ways, like You have to suffer, you have to beg, you have to fold to them, you have to plead to them, or you have to live the life of suffering that they feel like they lived. But because you made different choices, and because you chose maybe a simpler route or living a simpler type of life, or, like you made good choices, you didn't get yourself in the situations, or the world is different now. You literally have different, better choices than maybe they did at the time. Right. So quite literally, like the way of the world, the things that are available to you now, like could literally be different, and simplifying your life. So people are going to go off on tangents. Oh, they want, you don't appreciate the things I've been through. And thank you so much, Terry. I appreciate that. See, now I see it. Now I see the notification there. Thank you so much, Terry. I really appreciate that. So it's going to be people like that. So, you should not feel bad when people start acting like you did something to them and you know that you did not. You could probably sense that there's something off with the person, and you may not be able to quite place it, but it could be where you were sensing that it could be jealousy related, or it could be something going on with them that they're taking it out on other people. Yeah, it could be like that. Fierce says peace over everything, for sure. Yep. Destiny says it's witchcraft. Yeah, some people, man, some people are really, really, really evil spirited. They are overtaken by something dark. Like the really malevolent people, have been taken over by something dark that they cannot eradicate. And once again, once it takes over them to that degree, it's almost like they act that way. They start behaving in these ways because the darkness that encompasses their life now, like they cannot expunge it, or they don't know how to make it go away. But what they do know is how to lash out and to point fingers. And that kind of alleviates the pressure for them in the moment. It doesn't really solve nothing. Some people are just really, really angry inside, and they just need help, right? And they think that by lashing out at somebody or plotting or doing untoward things to other people is going to solve that. And it's not going to solve diddly squat. You know what I mean? Like, you got to look within, remedy, do very targeted healing, or very targeted, you know what I mean? Like planning or getting solutions so that you can have a more pleasant life. The formula is very simple. But human beings make things complicated sometimes, especially when there's ego involved. Unfortunately, the ego is like this gate. You know what I mean? It's like a gate, like a barbed wire fence, right? Like it's like that. It's like that. It could be like that. They just can't get over it. It's like, blocked. Some people feel blocked, and they treat other people like that. You'll be like, oh, like this person is like off. Like I've met people who are like off, and you're trying to like see where they're coming from, but it's like, nah, you're just off, right? And their behavior escalates, and their behavior escalates when there's greatness happening or when there's happy times. Like I've been around people who just are so mad that something great is happening or something thrilling is going on, like somebody's birthday, for example. And it's not about, oh, I don't celebrate birthdays, so I'm mad. Like it's because that wouldn't be happening then simply they just would not be there. They would not partake. They wouldn't have partaken in that if it's like a regimen or like a thing that they practice. You know what I mean? So I'm not talking about instances like that where people are just not in agreement with how you live life and cultural or whatever it is, might be customs or whatever. I'm literally talking about people who will go to the event, will come to the party, they will eat the food, they will drink the drink, and the whole night they're just looking at you. You know what I mean? They're watching you, looking at you funny. They roll their eyes when you're speaking, or they're just doing very rude gestures, and it's like, why did you come? You know what I mean? Like they can't holidays, like they get really angry. Birthdays, or if someone's being celebrated, These types of people, like, who are just mad for no reason, it seems, they get irritated by the celebratory vibe, the decorations and the effort that was put into the occasion. Like, they get really mad, they get like pressed, they're looking around, they're like, oh, okay, so that's how they did it up. They got the cake, they got the food, they got the drinks, everyone's laughing, people are really at ease, everybody feels fine. And it's like the perp feels triggered by celebratory events, right? Or good things happening, or somebody being celebrated. It's all an inward issue. They have this issue within themselves that they've not been able to eradicate, and it makes them feel woeful, jealous about anything that even remotely is against how they internally feel. That's a problem. You know what I mean? But we don't want to make it our problem, right? Like, we're not going to let people like that have a say or have the reins in our lives. I mean, you got to skedaddle. You know what I mean? If you have that type of attitude or mentality that you want to come around and make mess, you got to leave. You gots to go. You know what I mean? You can't be here. You can't come around because it's so against other people's views. You know what I mean? Like, it's again, we want peace, we want harmony. If these people are so adverse, every time you invite them to something, they're huffing, they're puffing, they're eating the food's falling out because they're looking at somebody crooked, looking at somebody sideways. They're not even trying to enjoy themselves. They're just there for whatever. Like, why did you even come? You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of narcissistic behavior and fake behavior, pretending, people who pretend. It's just odd. You know what I mean? These are oddities that continue to take place. People who kind of contradict themselves, and they're not really, like, if you don't like somebody, why come around? Or if you know what I mean? I used to be that way too. I used to go around places and go to places that I'm literally pretending here. I'm really straining myself. I'm really pretending. I'm telling you, that's exactly what I would do. When I felt like I had no choice or I was being forced, I would go to certain events and I would just pretend. And yes, I was that person who was nibbling on the food and drinking the drinks and being very uncomfortable where I was stationed. And then I would want to leave very early. I want to leave fast. I don't, like, why did I come? I'll have feelings afterwards. Like, why did I go? Like, that didn't feel right. And then I just really did not want to have to fake it. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt exhausting to have to fake it. And I just don't want to go, or I don't want to be involved. It's just easier being true to yourself and just accepting what you really like, what you don't like, and not putting yourselves in aggravating situations that put your blood pressure up or make you feel like biting your nails and anxious and worried leading up to the day. You're like worried and stuff. It's like, it's not worth it. Like, you should really live life on your own terms. And eventually I had to stop faking the funk, man. Because, like, it was tiring and I was nauseated by being in situations that I really did not want to be in. Feeling like somebody else is telling me what to do and I'm just doing it. And I just feel like I have to do it. I have to honor somebody or honor something. But do I really? Do I really have to? Of course I don't. Right? Like, this is my life. This is my choice. I don't need a playbook to tell me that, So those are my philosophies. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I see things. I was a really stubborn person. I feel like I'm still stubborn in some ways to this day, right? There's a lot of things I had to relearn and rewire because I was just so set in some really destructive ways. Like, I had weird ways, and I didn't deal with things the right way, and I didn't deal with all people in the right ways all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I had to learn through backlash. I had to learn through, trials and tribulations. Like, living life is the teacher, right? You live life and you learn. I'm not a perfect person. I still have qualms and I still have ways that I don't like. And you kind of work on it. You know what I mean? You work on it. Nobody's perfect here. We're human beings and we make mistakes, and there are things, but then you have to be accountable, and that's why you grow. When you're accountable, you say, okay, I don't like these ways that I'm being, I'm going to change that. That's very good, right? And then when you change your ways, you realize you've elevated, and not everybody has, right? So where you're on the up and up, everybody around you now, they're still on these lower levels, right? And they're not caught up yet. And they will behave like that. They will show you that they didn't do that healing work that you did to be on the pedestal that you are now. Hence why a lot of these people, we could have been mad too. We could have been on those lower levels too and mad just like them. But those days are gone. You know what I mean? Like, we've been healed. We've been doing what we had to do to get to where we're at now. And then we're looking around at the people who we expect to have caught up. They did not catch up, and their behavior matches that. So let's give them a little bit of grace. You know what I mean? A little bit of grace, just a smidge. They are accountable for their actions, but they're just on the lower levels. They didn't figure it out. You know what I mean? They could know that they are in dire straits. They need to fix up. They need to change. But that takes a certain level of accountability that they don't want to do. They don't want to activate that because it's painful, or it disrupts all the illusions and facades that they had working as placeholders for these issues, right? Like, people mask. And when you let the mask fall and you really be very careful and you start building your life or changing things piece by piece, you're going to live differently. You're going to be more elevated, and you're going to see. You might feel this innate feeling like, okay, I'm caught up. Everybody's caught up. Everybody's insert John Travolta meme. You're looking around, where's everybody? No, not everybody's caught up. You know what I mean? Like, some people are still on these lower levels where they're choosing to remain. They did not do the work that you did. So we cannot reasonably expect them to behave appropriately or to act mature, right? They just are not doing the work. Either that they are being blocked by something, they're hateful, they're envious, too much darkness, too much dreariness in their lives, not enough clarity and not enough light to see the way and to continue to rise. And it's self-inflicted a lot of the time. It's not because a race did that to me. The bot, no. Eventually you have to say, I'm doing that to me. What? I'm doing that to myself. It's not Shirley, it's not Tom, it's not Dick, it's not Harry. It's me. I'm the one who's really in a victim mentality, and I'm the one that has to do what I have to do to change my situation. I can't keep blaming other people, right? Sun Goddess, thank you so very much for that. I appreciate that. Wow, look at that. It's a snapping thing. That's really cool. See, that's clever. I like that. Not because, I'm so thankful, but I'm just saying the animations are very cool. I've never seen nothing like that before. That's very, very interesting. That was cute. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, you got to be accountable, and that's how you grow. And that's how you stay elevated. And some people just don't want to take it there. They don't want to be accountable. You know what I mean? Eric, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you kindly for that. Thank you to everybody. I haven't been here for 2 weeks straight. So I'm totally aware of the time that's running here, 1 hour, 27 minutes. And I'm purposely, you know what I mean, being on here for a little longer. And I purposely came on here earlier. So that is why I'm still here. I mean, the stream will have to end in a little while, but Yep. So that's why a lot of times people are just going to be mad at you. People are going to be upset at you or with you for no reason. But there is a reason. It's just done. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be mad at somebody because I'm hateful of their life and I'm jealous of their life. Like, what? You have to, that alarm should be going off, right? Like, if you are mad because someone else has something going on for them that you feel like is unattainable for yourself. But surely you would know as the perp that life is what you make it, and you could do what you want to do, right? Like, literally nobody is stopping you except for yourself and except for your dark thoughts. And your mind can play tricks on you, right? Perpetrators, when they conjure up negativity, I believe that it can change the way that they think just in general, right? And it can make their thoughts more dark and more frustrating, you know what I mean? And sad and just woeful and stuff, because they just conjure up too much hate, or they conjure up too much jealousy and contempt for other people, to where that's just their baseline now. That's their baseline. That's what you get. Be careful where that ramps to, Because some people, like I said, their brains are wired to be negative. And if that's their baseline, I don't want to know what else is there. You know what I mean? I don't want to see no more. Just like Joe Jonas said, I don't want to see no more. All right? Don't want to see no more. I don't want to see no more. And check that song out if you like the Jonas Brothers, Joe Jonas, See No More. It's a very good song. But, yep. Antoinette says it sounds like a thriller, Backrooms. Everybody, on a side note, everybody excited for GTA 6? Who's excited for GTA 6? I see that it's trending on X. It's like this worldwide phenomenon. Everybody's going crazy for GTA 6. I guess it's going to be a great game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm personally not a huge gamer, but GTA is a pretty fun game for me. Like, if there's any game that I really like, is the Grand Theft Auto franchise just in general. Like, it's a very entertaining, fun little distraction. And I see a lot of people wiling out online about GTA 6, So are you guys gamers? Do any of you guys play GTA? Are you guys looking forward to the game? Put that pre-order in, man. Put that pre-order in. Have fun, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like it's quite the spectacle. It seems like it's gearing up to be probably the most successful game ever. You know what I mean? And I'm not a gamer once again, so I don't know, but seems like that. Yeah. But it's cool though. It's cool to see people like just having fun and looking forward to different things and just trying to stay uplifted, stay happy, and stay occupied, keeping yourself busy, not being idle for too long, just enjoying life, enjoying what life has to offer, different opportunities, different things pop up. You want to seize the moment, seize that, and enjoy, just live life. Bless says I played Call of Duty. Okay, yeah, I'm not a COD person. See, I got it, COD, right? That's how it goes, right? COD. I'm not a COD person, but a lot of people are. A lot of people. That's another very successful franchise, right? So, hey, it's good. It's good to see everybody feeling good and just taking care of yourselves and just having different conversations. It's great. So, everybody, when people are treating you like you did something to them, or that they're mad at you for something, or people who are acting like you disturb their peace somehow, or they're upset that they just seem to be angry at you or mad at you, and it seems fully unwarranted. Oftentimes, the reason why it's like that is because they're either hateful of life or very likely jealous of you or some aspect of your life. And that's what's making them feel like these ways. They're feeling these ways because they could be very hateful of your life and very jealous that your life is working out. And maybe they feel like theirs is not, So do not take the responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, don't let their negativity get you down or take the fall or take the rap for them not taking care of their own lives. Like, let them fix it. Be like, okay, figure it out. You know what I mean? Figure that out and deuces, because I'm not going to absorb that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and be like, all right, yeah, a punching bag. You know what I mean? Like, nah, figure that out. Deuces. I'm going to fly. I'm going to do what I do. And you got to figure yourself out and you're going to do what you do. But you're not going to be around here doing that if it's negative. You know what I mean? Like, people have their own choices, their own free will. They ought to use it for great things, for positive things, for not being a hater, for being a winner, for finding your own flex, your own niche, whatever it is that you got to find, whatever it is that you want to do. Like, that's on you, right? Not one demographic, not one race, not one this, not one that. That's not how it goes. That's not realistic, right? That is not applicable across all situations, right? And even if there was an element of that, you still have to have a certain level of control and poise to navigate the situation and not let it warp. You know what I mean? You warp your understanding of humanity and people and cultures and different things, you know? Eventually, you have to just look at yourself in the mirror and see that, once again, unless this person was specifically tied to something very wrong happening in your life, that's different, right? But you know, but or the opposite, right? But if there's just people who are just mad at you and it seems like it's coming out of left field and you don't quite know what's going on and they're behaving odd and they're just, and it seems like it's coming out of nowhere, and you know they're escalating, or they just seem like they have this weird attitude or way with you, it's very simple. They're very likely just super jealous of you, right? And they cannot contain it, or they don't know how to eradicate their negative feelings that they have inside about their own lives. You're just kind of like the punching bag, unfortunately. And but you know, don't take that, right? Like, that's the biggest takeaway here, is that you don't have to put up with someone else's deficiencies or lack of self-worth, or you have self-worth. Like, you know where you're trying to head to, you know who you are. Like, you don't have to absorb someone else's confusion and delusions or illusions and things like that, because they just don't know how to figure it out, or they don't want to figure it out, right? Because then you get dragged into their underworld, into their abyss, where you see how dark stuff really is. You know what I mean? You see how distressing a lot of elements of their lives really are. You could just hang with these people for a little bit and you will see, like, oh, it's just distressing. Like, it's just, you know, like, and you will see who you can't really fully be yourself around. You can't fully hang. You can't fully tell that person, be around them for too long, be in these places for too long, because you start seeing, like, you know, their negative energy, or just down, just mad all the time, whatever. It could bring you down too, to a certain degree. And maybe you realize, like, this is not my scene, right? Charles, thank you so much for that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Melisha says they are very strange people. Right. Ahmed says, I've been a big fan of GTA 5 online for years, since Vice City. Yeah, I know, you know, yeah, GTA is a great game. I like the game. I'm looking forward to the new game. I'm looking forward to it. I didn't put no pre-order in yet. You know what I mean? I didn't do that yet. But a lot of people are. And good on everybody. Good on everybody. Because it seems like it really is going to be a spectacle of a game. I know there's a lot of conversations about the game and the way the game is being delivered and stuff like that. But I mean, hey, it's a massive franchise, and you know how it is. The game industry is super, super, like, it's all money. That's all money right there, right? It's always gonna be about money, right? So it's no shock, right? I think it's just because when you're anticipating something for so long, then you finally get the information or the access. It's kind of like, that's what it's gonna be. That's what I'm gonna have to pay. That's what I'm gonna have to do. They're ripping us off. It could be a ripoff, but it is GTA. You know what I mean? Like, it is that game, and there's a cost to that. You know what I mean? Like, waiting over a decade for a game to be produced. You know, I mean, you know, and that's where I'm kind of leaning towards. Like, you know, it's the industry. It's the gaming industry. It ain't cheap. You know, so it's just, you know, you got to pay or you can't play. Right? So yeah, I mean, yeah. Luella says they get angry when you're happy or show them love. Those are some very odd behaviors, right? When people don't like you because you're pleasant, you're a pleasant person, or you have love, or you are generous, you are sweet, or maybe other people see that you're sweet, like you're nice, or you know, the dynamic is cool, and maybe the haters or the perps, like, they're seeing this. Maybe they see that your life is surrounded by happiness, and they just, they're going to be mad about that. They're going to be mad for anybody who, like, cheers you on, or anybody that claps for you or says your name in a good, positive light. You know, you're going to see people's heads turning, like, uncomfortable. They're going to be nauseated. They don't like to hear good things happening. A lot of times they don't want to hear good things about you, good things about people associated with you. Once again, that association thing, because you could be really doing well, and people around you who are in good graces with you could be doing well naturally too. Maybe just because of your energy, people feel uplifted, and maybe negative people who see you hate on you and see the positive impact you have with people around you makes them hate even more, because they see that it's not a fluke, You know what I mean? And thank you for that gift there. Thank you so much for that. You can have an impact that's widespread, and even your haters can see that you have a positive impact, and your positivity is making waves and is widespread, and they just feel like, okay, so they will hate that you have that sort of energy about you where your positivity permeates a lot of spaces and is very memorable. Yeah, Malaysia says they get jealous when they see other people like you. They'd be like, why her? Why him? You know what I mean? They're like this, they're like that. Don't be fooled, right? They're in a league of their own, man, right? Because even if somebody hates on you, even if somebody, that's not going to change your trajectory. You're still going up, right? So it's like, it doesn't really matter if somebody feels negative towards you, or if somebody is mad at you, or it's like you can't please everybody, and you shouldn't live to please anybody. You should live your own best life, and with that, being authentic and doing what you do best, trust me, you're going to see the negativity ramp up in certain ways, or you're going to see people switch in ways that you never expected, all because your life improved. You look good now, taking care of yourself. You got your groove back. You know what I mean? Hey, anything is up for grabs. Everything irritates these people. And Ahmed says, how do you become a better content creator? I don't know the threshold. You know what I mean? I don't know what the threshold is. Like, I just feel like if you do you, that's the best that you could do. That's the best way that you could. But but then again, there are people who do what they do, and what they're doing is not positive. It's not good. Those people who go into society and they pull pranks on people, and they're like they're like big stunts and things like that. Like, maybe that's what they're really, really good at, right? So how do you tell somebody like that, oh, keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, keep pushing people's buttons. Keep, targeting random people for content. Like, people choose the route they want to take. I think it's just a balance of finding what you love to do, what means something to you, subjects or topics or things that you're deeply moved by, and you kind of anchor yourself to that, and you literally build on that. Like, in whatever way that you feel compelled to, you gotta build on your strengths. You know what I mean? You could try new things and you can get new strengths, but like, just in general, build on the strengths. You could be anybody you want to be, but you got to build, or you ought to like build on what you know and build on what you're really good at. Deep passions or deep wishes and desires, positive things, that you've had in your mind for a very long time, or dreams and visions you've had, things you want to do. You take that, and then you just kind of like expand on it. Like, okay, I love this. How can I make this into something bigger? Like, how can I really push this to the next level? Because I love this so much, and I want to do this, and I want to make this big, and I want to make this something that is sustainable for me. So first of all, you have to love it. And then you have to find some clever way or ways to somehow make it more so like that. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of elements can you add to what you love to do to make it to the degree that you want it to be? What do you have to do? Let's say you love cooking, but you want to take it up a notch because you want to have your own business. Loving cooking is one thing. How are you going to add it? Like, how are you going to expand that to where you make it your own? It will not make you miserable. It will not make you sad. It will not make you too stressed. It will bring you prosperity. It will secure yourself and your family, or whatever you're trying to build. Like, how can you expand on what you love and still keep it something that you love? Like, you have to find the element. It's very hard to it's more about just being real with yourself and expanding on that, on whatever it is that you're really trying to aim for, There's no special formula. I see that a lot. Some videos, how to get rich in 30 days. Well, that's unrealistic. You know what I mean? Like, that's extremely unrealistic. Some people really like that stuff, and I completely understand. Easy, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Some people, there's certain things that are unrealistic. Certain things are unattainable within the time frame that's being proposed. Not to say that it cannot ever happen. Of course, these things do happen in 30 days for some people, right? But then, there's a specific pathway that happened. Like, there's steps, or there's a certain way that took place. it's not necessarily something that's going to work for everybody within that same amount of time. Or what if it's something you're still trying to figure out? Are you going to be able to complete that and get what you want within 30 days, maybe 60 days, right? Maybe 6 months? Having realistic expectations or having none at all right now, kind of like loose expectations, see where things go, just jump, just do it, you know? And as you go along, you build and you add components, but always remaining like very attached and dedicated to the dream or to the vision and just expanding on that, right? Like if you love cars, like, okay, you love cars, but you want to do something with that. You got to think about how are you going to do that? How are you going to expand your love for vehicles in a way that means something to you? If you're trying to build an auto mechanic shop or something like that, or do mobile mechanic work or something, okay, so you love what you do. You want to be a mechanic that provides mobile services. You have to find a way to, how are you going to achieve that so that you still love being a mechanic? Right? Because you can love something and then because you're trying to make it bigger, you start hating it because it's so cumbersome and you're starting to lose like the feeling for it. So you want to make sure that your dreams and your visions you're staying true to and very carefully add components and test the waters to make sure that it's really what you want to do. You're being really true with, you know, thank you so much, Justin, with what you're trying to aim for. And then you just expand, you know? You expand. You, Ahmed says, I'm a small content creator that's been posting free videos on social media since MySpace. Yeah, I mean, that's great. You know what I mean? Like if you love that, if you've been liking that, that's a good thing. I encourage everybody. Really, it's a simple formula. It's very, very simple. There's no real actual course. You know what I mean? That like there could be a course, but to me, it's very simple. As long as you're doing what you love to do and you're doing it the way you want to do it and you're making it exactly the way you want it to be, and you set it up to your own liking, not basing it off of what another person posted or what another person is doing or another idea that someone else tried. Like it's good to get inspiration, but be very careful. Make sure that you're tailoring your dreams and your visions to what you want to do, right? Maybe there's something that you're missing, or maybe there's something that you've been putting off, right? There could be elements that could give you a little bit of a boost or an upgrade to what you've been very meticulously and diligently building. Maybe it's time to scale up or to upgrade something or to downgrade something. You know, sometimes you got to downgrade things too to make things work for you. Imagine this confusing concoction. All you want to do is fix someone's whip. You know what I mean? And for you, it's easy. So it shouldn't be this hard and it shouldn't be so complicated, right? So sometimes we complicate things as human beings. We should try to make things less complex. Even the most complex things for you, if it's your passion, if it's your love, if it's your dream, you probably do not see it as complex as other people might, right? But still make things very uncomplicated for yourself, you know? Yeah, MySpace. Yeah. Yeah, MySpace is more like a vintage type of platform now, it feels like. You know what I mean? So yeah, everybody, I mean, you guys have to keep doing what you do. And when you do what you love, you're going to get attacked and you're going to get targeted by some people who just never figured out how to live their best life on their own terms. You know what I mean? And they feel hateful, oftentimes jealous, maybe even embarrassed. And they feel like everybody who's living a better life than them, they're mad at, or they have a bone to pick with that person, when really it's an inward internal issue that they've got with themselves that they have not eradicated. That's on them. You got to still live your best life. Don't dumb yourself down. Don't change the formula because people around you are uncomfortable. Okay, sorry. You know what I mean? But you got to keep doing you, keep being on that grind and keep growing what you want, right? Because people are going to be pressed because it's working out for you. Right? So they could be pressed and things will just keep working out for you. Right? So everybody, I thank you guys so very much. It's 1 hour and 48 minutes in. I hope you guys really enjoyed the stream. I'm so happy to be here after 2 weeks of not streaming. So I thank you guys so much for your input. All the gifts that I generously received here during the stream. I really, really, really appreciate that. The generous donations there, the likes and the watches, just the commentary as well, seeing everybody's thoughts. It's really good. And I'm happy I was able to stay on here for a little while longer than I normally do, or than I have been for years, a few years now. It's been quite some time since I've done a stream for this long, for, yeah, quite some time. All right. So spread love and stay up, be positive. Haters are going to hate. You know what I mean? And let them hate. And you do what you do and do it well. Do it as you've been doing, keep doing what you do, smile. And once again, there's going to be people who are just mad at the world, mad at everything, mad at everyone, pointing fingers at everyone. Oh, it's you, your fault, that race, cut it out. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's on you. You get to choose what you want to do. Don't blame them. Don't blame that race. Don't blame that person. Don't blame your boss. Don't blame, like, you know what I mean? Unless literally they're literally directly involved in the predicament, that's different. But just generally, like, people who just have general hate or general loathing for others who are doing well, it's just, they got to do some inner healing there. They got to eradicate some demons there. And otherwise, you can't let it plague your life. Whatever lack that they're experiencing, unfortunately, if it's plaguing them, they do have options to help them with that. Not somebody being a punching bag for their woes, right? Like, I mean, come on now. We're a lot more elevated in that. We know we don't do that to other people, We healed. Maybe we used to, like I said, I used to blame. I used to point fingers and stuff like that. It's so easy to do that. But when you see that you're holding yourself back, you have to be the one to get yourself out of that, right? Not that group, not that race. They're against me. Oh, this, that. At the end of the day, it's you. That's your life. That's your world. What's a hater got to do with it? What are they going to do? What can they do, right? Except for lurk and watch and become more and more and more unhinged. These are how these people will move. They will continue to get mad. You got to break the cycle in a way, not in a way that really thoroughly involves you in the matter, unless you need to be involved in the matter. But it's more of, okay, well, I can see they're very jilted and I don't want that energy around me, right? I can see they move funny when I'm around, or whatever. When we encounter each other, it doesn't feel good. Let me stay out of the way. Those are ways that are very low effort that you could really try to circumvent these problematic people or these problematic situations, right? I mean, you don't have to go through everything. You don't have to take everything. I say, take it, whatever, go through it, be a champ, be a fighter. Really, there are some situations that are harmless enough to kind of like go around, like, all right, look, you have issues. That's not my problem. Good luck, fam. I'm going to go around you. I got somewhere to be, right? Sayonara. I hope you find healing, but some people will never change. Don't absorb that, right? Don't absorb it. And remember, you've elevated. Not everybody has. So when you've elevated and you see everybody around you, it's like there's no one to be found. Like there's nobody positive, hardly anybody as elevated as you maybe, or who has changed or who has done the healing. You have to remember that, right? That maybe you came from a low place. Now you're at a higher place. And maybe most people around you are still on these lower levels and they've not done the work. And so you cannot expect them to reasonably behave properly with somebody who is they're not on your level, right? It's not to be pompous. They just did not do the healing work. They are not being true with themselves, real with themselves. But you're not making those choices. So really, like, you're on a higher, you're elevating, you're vibing higher than a lot of people. And they're on lower levels and they don't want to go up, or they're limiting themselves, or they've given up, or they just don't like life. You can't absorb that because you have a place to be. You like life, right? You love life. So people are going to be mad. Let them be mad. Let them cry. Let them be mad. Let them whimper. Let them blame. Let them look at, oh, this person's to blame. That person, this is why I'm mad. This is what you did. This, that, and the third. It's all to distract. It's all like smoke screens. It's all because remember, these people know exactly what you're trying to aim for, and they know exactly what you're able to attain. So when people start feeling and acting very negative towards you, it's going to feel very pointed. It's going to feel very targeted. It's going to feel like it's on purpose. All they bring is misery. You got to be very careful of letting these people sit too long in your life. because some people can't change. Remember, they could be beside you, but they're not really where you're at. You know what I mean? They could be sitting right next to you and you are years ahead. All right. Your mind is way ahead. You're just ahead. They could be right beside you, sitting right beside you, but you are worlds ahead. And that will be the person who looks at you funny. You know what I mean? That's going to be the person that gives you the screw face and gives you attitude and talks down to you and blames you for everything. It's going to be that person sitting beside you who they just, they can feel it. They can feel that you're onto something special, or that you are a good person, that you are made of something, you are making it, you are doing well, and they just feel like they're not. And you guys are at the same level. Physically might be, but really there's a big difference. All right, there's a big gap between who elevated and did the work and who's still just feeling piss poor. I don't know how else to say it. You know what I mean? Like, really, because these people will attack. You got to be feeling piss poor. You got to be, right? There's got to be something darker going on, And once again, like, there could be legitimate reasons. There could be some real serious problems there. There could be mental health issues. There could be cognitive impairments. There could be other things going on. It could be economy based. People are, anxious these days. Those are totally valid. Those things exist. That's very real. But remember, your mind is big. Your mind is sharp. You can't let these things define you to that degree. You got to find a way to get through your situation. Stay grounded. Don't let life knock you down, right? Like, you got to uplift. Not only uplift yourself and the ones you love around you, uplift humanity. And oftentimes God will call you to do that through your work, that you're wondering, how can I make this bigger? How can I make this better? How can I stay true? You just got to stay true. You got to be who God made you to be, right? And that's literally when things work out. It may not be by analytics, right? It may not be where everybody's ringing your phone down. It could be like a longtime partner that really believes in you. And it's that one person who makes your whole business worthwhile, or your life, like some aspect, some happiness. Like, what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't have to be flashy, and it doesn't have to be grounded in numbers and you know what I mean? Like analytics or reviews or whatever. It's really just happiness, right? Like, truly doing what makes you happy. And that's literally all it takes for these type of fiends to be mad at you. You're doing what makes you happy. And you would be surprised how many people, happiness is like a foreign concept to them now. They don't know how to be happy, or they don't trust situations that seem fantastic or seem positive, because they're so into the chaos. They're so into it. Like, they don't even know. If happiness came knocking, they'd be like, oh, I'm nervous. I don't know if I should answer that door, because all they live in is chaos. All they know is darkness. They haven't elevated from these low levels. So when misery comes knocking at your high level door, your high level life, your life that you've been building, don't answer the door. Do not answer the door when misery comes knocking, and you will know, you will feel it, and you will say, this does not align with what I'm trying to do. So I'm not going to answer that door, right? I'm going to make sure that I only open opportunities or situations as much as I can control that aid me, not deplete me, not harm me. Why are we going to answer those types of doors, right? People will come a knocking. They'll come knocking like the big bad wolf. And you got to be privy and think about whether or not you want to answer that door. Is that going to cause a calamity? Is that going to cause you grief? Is that going to cause you problems? Is it going to hold you back, or is it going to aid you for the better? Is it going to support you? Is it going to anchor you? Is it going to make you happy? So many doors get knocked. So many negative situations, figuratively, sometimes literally, come knocking at your door. And you have choices to make. And you ought to make the choices that literally help you, keep you safe, make you feel good, make you feel happy. Then you get to move on. Then you get to continue to prosper and live life. I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple. I'm telling you, I know, I've complicated so many things for myself. I know it could be so simple, but we do the opposite. Like, I can understand that. I'm not perfect. I made so many bad mistakes, so many bad choices. Sometimes I still make choices that are not that great to this day. And you're like, I shouldn't have done all that, right? You continue to live and you continue to grow. But the core values and the core issues and core understanding would tell you If a negative situation comes a knocking, you don't answer the door because you've already grown from that. From that, we've learned that we just don't answer. Just like the third little pig that built its house from bricks. You know what I mean? Like we learned, right? We learn what happens when things are too flimsy, when things are too, people can just permeate, people can just come through and do what they want to do. Nah, you got to have your fort secure. You got to have your life secure, your assets secure, everything you care about on lock. Because people are going to come and knock and they're going to act like they're going to take that. Or they're going to act like, you know, they just want to rattle you and distract you from the life that you're trying to build. I'm telling you, when the big bad wolf comes knocking, you don't answer the door because we already learned that. We learned from that. That's like basic, you know? So I thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I hope we can have another conversation real soon about, you know, something else. Something, you know, we'll vibe out very soon. Let's stay connected on here on YouTube. And like I said, I have a new channel, Unraveled, and I also have a third channel that I'm working on as well. That's going to be a storytelling channel because I'm a writer. You know, I write. I've self-published a lot of work, a lot of short stories. That's kind of like my strength. And I've always loved writing since I was a very young person. You know, it just kind of, it's ingrained. It's one of the things that are ingrained. And so my third channel is going to be about storytelling, and I'm still working on that. So I've not really pushed it yet, or really like it's launched. But you know, I'm still working the mechanisms of how I'm going to execute this channel. How am I going to do the formatting for this channel? Because writing is probably top 3 major things that is a part of who I am. So it's just about kind of like 2026, branching out a little bit further. You know, the line is little, you know, the net is casted more outwardly, right? For me in 2026, like really doing some new projects and stuff like that. Doing a lot of writing and doing a lot of revamping of personal stories that I've written and stuff like that. I'm more of a psychological person, you know, like I write a lot of psychological stories and like, you know, emotional surrealism, things like that, like, you know, kind of like startling psychological stories. That's just the core of how I write. So, you know, I'm doing a few things, you know, and I encourage everybody to do what they want to do. Don't sleep on yourself. Don't put yourself in just one lane. That's probably the worst thing that you could do, is just put yourself in one lane. There could be a core thing that you absolutely love, right? But also I'm sure you're multifaceted. And if you're feeling these thoughts like that you need to expand now, or you need to cast the net wider, you're probably getting signs because you can't put everything in the same lane. You'll feel like this don't fit. This does not work, or this is being stretched, or this is not fitting. I need a new container. You know what I mean? I need a new lane. Then you got to hop on that. And once again, just keep it real. You know what I mean? Keep it real and do what you do. All right. So yeah, everybody, I thank you guys so much. Once again, we've been here for 2 hours. I'm happy though. I'm happy about that. It's been a minute. So I thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the stream. Once again, thank you guys so much for your generosity and all the ways you guys have been on this stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's stay connected once again. We'll talk soon, everybody. So take care. Enjoy life. David, everybody, enjoy life. Keep living it up. All right. And people can be mad, but that's not going to stop your growth. All right. If anything, it's just going to give you more energy and more reason to show you that you're actually on the right path and you're doing something well, or you're doing multiple things well, you know? So thank you guys. Stay up. All right. And I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Bye guys. Thank you.